My name is Ashley Michael, and for my honors project, I had the topic of vegetable and microbial gums. Just as an overview of my topic, vegetable microbial gums are polysaccharides of usually natural origin. They can be synthetically created as well, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. And they're capable of causing a large increase in a solution's viscosity, which is increasing the thickness of various substances. And this really comes into play in the food industry because they can be used as various thickening agents, but they don't alter the taste of the food that they're added to. They do have medicinal as well as lab practical applications as well. These gums are found in 5 main locations, and their physical as well as their molecular aspects are going to vary greatly depending on where they were created. They can be found in the seed gums as 1, tree sap as 2, marine gums, fermentation, and as well as the chemically derived gums. However, most of them are going to be found in the woody elements of plants or in the seed coatings. Just as I was talking about with the location where they're produced, there's many differences within the gums. Each of them consists of mixtures of similar, but they're not going to be identical molecules because they do have different sources, methods of preparation, as well as thermal processing, which is things like they have different optimal pHs and temperatures, which are all going to affect the physical properties they're going to exhibit. So therefore, it's possible to combine several gums in order to produce a compound with the additive properties from each of the gums. I found some various examples of some natural gums and classified them according to their origin, and these examples are some that I'll go into greater detail about a little bit later, but the first category is natural gums obtained from seaweed, and these are classified as polyelectrolytes, and an example of this would be agar. The second category are natural gums obtained from non-marine botanical sources, and these are going to include your gum arabic, while it's another example of an uncharged gum from a non-marine botanical source is going to be your guar gum. And lastly, you can have gum produced from a bacterial fermentation process, and this is going to be your xanthan gum. My first example that I wanted to go into greater detail about was the xanthan gum. This is a largely indigestible polysaccharide that is produced by mixing fermented sugars with certain types of bacteria. And whenever manufacturers produce these xanthan gums, they're going to place bacteria in a growth medium that contains sugars and other nutrients, and then the product that results from that fermentation is then purified, dried, and powder and can be sold as xanthan gum. There are many uses for xanthan gum that I found. The first would be for lowering blood sugar as well as total cholesterol in people with diabetes by slowing the absorption of sugar from the digestive tract. It can also be used as a laxative because the xanthan gum is going to swell in the intestine, which stimulates the digestive tract to push the stool through. And lastly, it can also be used as a saliva substitute in people with dry mouth. The xanthan gum has many pros to it and positive aspects, such as it's soluble in both hot and cold water. It has a high solution viscosity even at low concentrations. It has a good stability when it's frozen or thawed, and it's used in baked goods such as dough to provide the elasticity for it. Some other uses, it can be used as a thickening and stabilizing agent in foods, toothpaste, and even medicines, especially the sustained release medications. However, the main drawback I found with it is that it can cause flu-like symptoms in some individuals, just such as a sore throat or runny nose for some, so it's advised to be careful before taking the supplements of the xanthan gum. As shown in this picture right here, that can be bought just in a package, and on the right is the powdered form of the xanthan gum. The next example that I found was the gum arabic, which is derived from the sap of the African acacia tree, and it's one of the most common gums with the longest history. It is a brittle, odorless, and generally tasteless material that contains a number of neutral sugars, acids, calcium, as well as some other electrolytes. The gum is built upon a backbone of the D-galactose units. However, acacia does contain the peroxidase enzyme, which is typically destroyed if it's exposed to heat, so you have to be careful with it. And after it's extracted from the tree, it's then dried or aged for 1 year before it can be processed into the sprayed dried powder. It's also defined as a cold water soluble polysaccharide, and it's a multifunctional hydrocolloid. Some variable uses for it. It can be used in the production of beverages and flavor emulsions, as well as meal replacements. It's used in the coating of cereals, confections, baked goods, as well as icings. And here's a picture of the gum, Eric, before it's processed into that powder. And here on the side you can see it's an excellent source of the fiber. Even when you're sick, it can soothe those irritated mucous membranes and prevents coughing. In the past, this gum was administered intravenously to counteract low blood pressure that would follow surgery, but this administration caused renal as well as liver failure, so its use was abandoned. The third example I found and want to talk about was the guar gum, which is a fiber from the seed of a guar plant. It can be used as a laxative, as well for treating diarrhea and obesity, as well as diabetes. It's also present in food and beverages, as it's used as the same as that xanthan gum as the thickening and stabilizing binding agent within various foods. And also in manufacturing, it can be used as a binding agent in different medications and tablets, as well as a thickening agent used in medicinal lotions and creams. And in this picture, you can see just the 3 different kinds, the fibrous guar gum powder that's used. And the fourth and final example is the agar, which is a jelly-like substance that's obtained from algae. It's a little bit thicker than a gelatin substance. It's derived from the polysaccharide agarose, which forms the supporting structure in the cell walls of certain species of algae and is released upon boiling it. The agar is one of those examples of from the seaweed, from the electrolytes, and its various uses. It can be used as a medium to culture various types of bacteria, such as in a petri dish. It can be used as a laxative as well, an appetite suppressant, thickener, such as in desserts or different beverages, as well as for a sizing paper and fabrics. And then this is an example of a picture of agar just in a petri dish that can be used to put bacteria on there and incubate them and let them grow. And that is the end of my presentation. Here are my references. I hope you learned a little bit about the various types as well as the functions of different vegetable and microbial gums, as well as where they can be found. Thank you.